The Android TV with 2 gigs RAM, 16 gig storage, 4K certification, Chromecast built-in, HDR10 plus, DTS audio, onboard Ethernet, full-size USB port. To get all of that, a fully certified device for under £20, around about $20. Could this be the true Firestick killer of 2024 that we've all been waiting for? Well, let's open that up. So this is what the box looks like. We have an Android TV logo on the top. We have nothing on the front, nothing on this side. Here you have a full-size USB-A port, which I guess is USB 2. Next to that, we have a micro SD card slot. On the back here, we have AV out, HDMI out. We have the onboard Ethernet, which I do believe is 100 meg. And we have another full-size USB-A port. And here is the power input. On the bottom here, we have some ventilation and we have the serial number. So it does feel fairly cheap in the hand, but I guess for around about £20, you can't really ask for too much. And this is the standard remote control it comes with. So fairly basic. We have the standard D-pad here. We do have the Google Assistant voice control. You have the power button at the top. You have the home button here. It looks like it does have a dedicated virtual mouse button. We have the back button here, and we have 2 separate media control keys, one for YouTube and one for Netflix. And we also have the volume up and down. That's the remote control there. And you get a standard power cable and HDMI brick. So let me now plug that in and let's see exactly what this Mortal Android TV box looks like. Okay, so I powered up the Mortal Android TV box and we are taken to the all too familiar Android TV home screen. And this was probably the first red flag that I noticed, that this device is supposed to be running Android TV 13 or even 14, but this home screen layout is nothing like that. This is a lot more like Android 10 or Android 11, but let's see some of the other things. So probably the first thing we want to check is, if I go over to the settings, inside device preferences, we go to storage, we see that the device RAM is 2 gig and you have 16 gigs of total storage, which is a good amount when you are paying around about $20 for this box. Let's go back. Now, if we actually go into the about, I think here we will see, yeah, so it's saying model is Android TV and the version is 14, but there is no way this box is running real Android TV 14 because the home screen would not look like that. It wouldn't have an Android security patch level from 2019. We can say this has definitely been edited or modified to show an incorrect Android TV version, but let's go back. Now, I did install some test applications just to see that can I install things okay, can I install things from the Google Play Store, and that all worked absolutely fine. It does come with some preloaded applications like Apto TV, like a few others down here. So let me take you through some of the things I did actually like about the box. So starting with YouTube, let's open that up, and that is playing fairly smooth. We can also bring up the stats to see if there are any skipped frames. Let's do that now. Okay, and we can see it's only dropped 1 frame out of 5,000 or so frames. So that's pretty impressive for such a small, cheap Android TV box. And that's a nice looking HD picture. Now, I wouldn't really want to push it past 1440p, but let's just give that a quick try and see if that still stays smooth. Okay, so they did actually drop quite a few frames there, and I can see it's sort of stuttering now. Okay, so definitely not 1440p or higher, but 1080p content through YouTube seems to be playing okay. Let's go back. So that was YouTube. The other positive thing that I liked was that the remote control comes with a built-in virtual mouse or a physical mouse button, which you can activate. So if I just show that now, here you can see on the remote control, we have this dedicated button here under the D-pad. So I just open up, for example, VLC. I now press that button. We can see on the screen now, I've got access to a virtual mouse, which can be useful for certain applications, particularly applications that you have to sideload, which are really designed for phones and tablets. You can actually use them on a TV-based device, but using some kind of virtual mouse. That works fine. Now you also get these 2 media buttons on the remote control, and both do work absolutely fine, but I'm not going to talk about Netflix at the moment. Let's go back. You also get the fully working voice assistant, so I can press this button on the remote and say, "What's the weather in London?" Give that a second. And that does actually work absolutely fine. So you can control your device or issue commands by using your voice. You can also interact with applications. So I can say, "Watch Tech Doctor UK on YouTube." Let's give that a second. That does automatically start YouTube for me. And I can now see some of my previous videos. That's working great. And lastly, streaming applications. I was able to install some popular streaming applications. They start up okay. I can search for content. I can click on play. And in less than 5 seconds, I'm able to stream that content using that third-party application on the Mortal Android TV box, and that's working fine. So really, that's all of the positives I can say. Let's talk about some of those red flags or issues I've discovered with this box. Now, probably the first one for me, the real one, was the fact that I couldn't even install AIDA or AIDA 64. Now, this is a great application you can use to fully vet your device and see what's the hardware inside, what codecs are installed, what certifications it supports. All of that information can be gleaned by installing this application, but searching for it on the Play Store, trying to sideload it, in all cases, it just kept on failing. So if I just do that now, just to confirm, this is the application there. Let me click on that. Let me click on install. Because typically that's the first thing I install on any new Android box, just so you can see exactly what you're getting in terms of hardware and software. But this one, I don't know how or why, but it just keeps giving that error. And again, I have tried sideloading really old versions, even from 2 years ago, but again, they don't work. Now, I did install another application which gives you some information called TV Info, but it's pretty basic. But again, we can confirm in terms of what the RAM is. It is 2 gig RAM. We can confirm the CPU type, which is this Sun 50i, which is the all-winner CPU, has 4 cores. But again, in terms of certifications, I can't properly confirm. Now, the reason people want these certifications is they can use official applications like Netflix. If I open that up, I mean, trying to sign into this just took forever. I kept coming up with different errors. I had to reboot the device multiple times, but eventually we can see it has signed in. Let's choose my profile. And you can see when I click on something, it does say HD at the top. So it is finding some certification, which is why it's allowing you to see this content in HD. The trouble is when you try to play it, as I'm doing now, I click on play. It says this is now no longer supported on this device, and there's no way I can actually update the software to get a newer version. So even though it does seemingly look like it has the right certifications for HD Netflix, because of this old version that's installed on here, there's no way for me to actually play any content. So that's another failure of this box. Let's go back. Now, I mentioned before that the device does come with an onboard Ethernet port, but unfortunately is capped to 100 meg. If I just do a quick speed test using 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, in my house I have a 1 gig connection to my ISP, but on this device you can see I can't even get 100 meg, so I'm not even able to get 1/10 of my bandwidth using this Android TV box. It must just have a really weak or just terrible Wi-Fi chip. And if I do plug the Ethernet cable in, which I will do now, it does actually go very close to its theoretical maximum of 100 meg. So if you were to get this box, I would definitely recommend use it with the wire, because anytime you use anything with the wire, you do get that more solid, more reliable, more stable connection compared to Wi-Fi. But that's the maximum speed there. Let's go back. Now, the other thing you can see at the top here where you have Discover, if you click on that, now click on Customize your recommendations. Let's click on that. It keeps coming up with this error. So I definitely think there's something funny with how this version is being reported back on the device, where some parts of the device are reporting they're running Android TV 14, but in reality it's running something else, which is why I think the launcher is just getting confused, because it's trying to show recommendations, but it doesn't understand exactly which version of Android you are running. BBC iPlayer was not available, and even when I tried to sideload it, it came up with an error saying that your device is not supported. Let's try a bit of gaming. Here you can see straight away, guys, it's already stuttering just on the beginning bit here. So wrapping up this video, guys, there's not really much to say about this box other than what I've shown you. The positives, yes, it's very cheap. It does have 2 gigs of RAM. It does have 16 gig storage. It does run third-party streaming applications. Absolutely fine. So if that's your particular use case, you're looking for a cheap box that you can just, keep in your bag with you, take it as a holiday travel box. I think for basic functions, it does actually work okay. But everything else, I think there's just too many red flags with the incorrect reporting of the Android TV version. The fact that you can't run Netflix because there's no way you can update it. There's also that issue with the AIDA 64 where you can't actually see exactly what's running on the device. So personally, I think there's just too many red flags to recommend a box like this. And if you do have access to a box like the On box, which also is $20, that's a much safer purchase than something like this. But again, depending on your use case, if you really don't care about certifications, you really don't care about official applications, all you want to do is just install some streaming applications, then maybe this box might be okay to check out. But I will leave the link in the video description and pinned comment if you want to do that. Also, to let you know that I have purchased the Google Streamer 4K that should be here on Tuesday. So if you guys are interested in seeing a review of that, make sure you are subscribed. Do leave me a comment if there's anything particular you want me to test on that device. Also, let me know what you think about this box, and I'll hopefully catch up with you guys real soon. Thanks.